the last episode, so long, farewell, has here. About 75 minutes in, we learn that Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis, has decided to retire and go back to Kansas. A touching send-off for one of fiction's most lovable and sympathetic figures is provided, according to Ted Lasso's vision. Ted's stay at Rebecca's house begs the question, why? Ted may have slept with Rebecca, but the gas leak in his building forced him to remain at her place instead. Ted enters Rebecca's kitchen to find her deep in meditation. She then shares the news that she learned from the previous episode, that this will be Ted's final game, and that he intends to return to the United States. In addition, Rebecca had given Coach Beard and his passionate partner a place to stay for the night. Beard comes out with a man-thong and a slash t-shirt, while his buddy dons one of Rebecca's suits. Beard tells Ted they are going back to the States together as he sits on the kitchen island with his naked behind exposed to her. I don't understand why Rebecca wants to sell the club. Rebecca tells Ted that she and Rupert both plan to quit the club if he is fired, so she makes the decision to sell. It's a touching scene, and Rebecca's ability to use her status as club owner to conceal her affections for Ted demonstrates her power as a woman. Rebecca expresses her hope that Ted would remain, highlighting the positive effects that his presence would have on their kid and ex-wife. To make him the highest-paid coach in the league, she suggests selling 49% of the club. Ted remained mute throughout, suggesting he has already made up his mind. Rebecca is aware of this, which is why she wants to sell the club for about $2 billion, as Higgins recommended. Ted likens Rebecca's next trip, inspired by Eat, Pray, Love, to Julia Roberts' aforementioned book. She jokes back that it's more like Eat, Pray, F***K. For the final time, they laugh together. So, who does Keeley choose, Roy or Jamie? When both Roy and Jamie show up to Keeley's place after their argument, she doesn't choose between them. Despite Roy's best efforts, Keeley embraces Jamie. Roy then offers Jamie a drink and tells him he wants him to back off so he can date Keeley. But because there is no formal commitment, Jamie isn't going to stop trying to win Keeley over. Keeley is irritated that they think they have the authority to give her a voice in the issue when they show up at her flat and demand that she make a decision. Roy grows disheartened and, for the first time, asks to be a diamond dog, despite his efforts to become more like the other dogs. Higgins responds by saying, "Human beings are never going to be flawless, Roy. All we can do is reach out for support and take it where we can get it. Doing so will allow us to continually push ourselves to become better and advance." Does Nate make amends with Ted? Nate, of course, expresses his regret to Ted for how he has been treated, but he also apologizes bitterly and passionately. When Nate embraces him, Ted envelopes him in a protective bear hug. Ted has been a father figure to Nate while not being his biological father. They both turn their attention to the space above the office door where the word "believe" formerly hung. Ted says that even now, after all this time, he can still see it when he looks up. Ted asks his mentee Nate whether he finds it strange, and Nate responds that it's not. After Ted has left, Nate looks at the gone sign and says, "How do AFC Richmond do it against West Ham?" AFC Richmond rallied from a 2-goal deficit to beat West Ham in the 94th minute. Ted encourages his team during halftime, telling them to give it their all in the second half. After a moment of silence, Sam and Jamie each go into their pockets and pull out a fragment of the torn "Believe" sign. The sign is later reassembled, revealing that each member of the crew retained a fragment for themselves. First goal of the second half is scored by Jamie, and he then draws a penalty. Jamie passes the ball to Danny, and Danny passes it on to Isaac, who shoots. We first assume he missed, but his response reveals that his strike was so powerful it cleared the crossbar. Insanity has set in with Rupert. He leaves the stands and starts berating and pushing his coach. The audience yells "wanker" when Rupert departs. Sam scores the game-winning goal after Ted has Nate call on the play while Jamie distracts the defense by shouting for the ball. Colin is greeted by his partner, and the two kiss in front of the cheering spectators and the rest of the squad. Now that he has come out, Colin can be proudly identified as a member of the LGBTQ+ community.